Hello, I'm Brian Akers, Certified Financial Planner and founder of Akers Financial Group. We welcome you to our Winning in Retirement Classroom series. Today's topic is 529 plan. The reason we're doing that is because May 29th is this coming Saturday. 529 is about college savings, and what we did today is Jeff Akers, my cousin, and myself will be presenting the Maryland 529 plan, the American Funds plan, and try to talk a little bit about saving for college, how to calculate it, and how these plans work in general. All right, these webinars are on our website at acresfinancial.com. You can actually see this webinar again by going to that website and watching it through our website under the webinar tab. So it's not just during this live section, but on that tab is all of our past webinars that we've done for the past year. This is in replacement of our Retirement Expo. Yes, we are planning a Retirement Expo for 2021 in September of 2021. There'll be a lot more information coming to you through our weekly email and also to our website coming up very, very soon. All right, so our talk today, make sure you're ready. You can chat with us at the bottom of the page here. You can also sign up and get more information by making sure we have your contact information. We do have thank you gifts for first time people that watch our webinars. We do send you a lovely thank you gift. So make sure we know who you are. It's very, very important. Let me see if there's anything else. Our radio shows on Saturday mornings, 105.7 The Fan at 11 a.m. Be sure to join us. If you miss it, you can go to the website, acresfinancial.com, the radio tab, and we have a history of our past radio shows for you to watch and listen. It really can't see much except listen through like a podcast that we have there. All right, let's get going on the 529 plan. All right, here with me is Jeff Akers, Certified Financial Planner. Today, Jeff, you and I are going to talk about Maryland 529 plans and national 529 plans. And the main reason is because this coming Saturday is 529, May 29th. So 529 day, what is the significance of 529 plans?
Well, 529 plans are a great way to save for college. And when they first started, it was just for college, but allows us to set some money aside for college, have it grow over time. And then when you use it for school, for those qualified education expenses, it's tax-free. So I think of it a little bit like a Roth IRA, but for school. And we love to hear tax-free.
Right. So our clients, many of them might be the grandparents or the parents, and they're looking at this future cost of college. And one of my advice is this: you need to see what's going on in your kids' lives and see should they go to college, trade school, or maybe not. Maybe they're going to go straight into a trade or they have other plans. A 529 plan helps pay for secondary education. And now it also helps from pre-K to graduating high school. You can actually take 10,000 out a year out of your 529 plan to be able to pay for even the regular tuition of a private school or private tutoring, which is very good. And then later on, I believe you can take some money out for paying 10,000 on a student loan. Is that correct, Jeff?
Oh gosh, don't ask me that.
Well, I
I
did
didn't look that up.
No, it is true. It is true that you can take 10,000 out and pay it down, which is a good deal. So the 529 plan is a way to save tax-free for college. That tax-free for college is why we like it so much and why we want you to learn about it today. In the 529 plan, what are some other things people need to think about, Jeff?
Well, not only can the money be tax-free when you use it for education, your contributions, depending on where you live, you might actually get a state tax deduction that can help out a little bit. Maryland has one. If you use the Maryland plan, Pennsylvania has a deduction no matter what plan you use. And so, we'll talk a little bit about that later on, but there are some really good ways. It's just a great way to save on your taxes and to prepare for education in a tax advantaged way.
The hardest thing is that college is an extremely expensive event.
Yes.
And I'm thankful that this year is my first year when it's over. Both of my kids are finished college, and Jeff is just starting college with his son this fall. So what's happening in life is that we all have to be ready for these things that might happen. Now, we love to tell you guys to save money, whatever you can, as soon as you can, and let your money have time to grow. The key to investing for college is allowing it time to grow, for it to compound and to grow over time. We're going to show you some different things throughout our talk today. We're going to show you the Maryland 529 website at T. Rowe Price. I'm just going to show you the American Funds website. We're going to talk about calculating college and what we have through our Acres Financial website. But when it comes down to it, is we want to save for these kids' futures. And one of the best ways to do that is a 529 plan. 529 plans are money that we can put in, and it's a gift to that child for their future. But if you're the owner, as a grandparent, or if you're the owner as a parent, you control who the beneficiary is. So if you have a couple kids, you might have an account for each kid, and so you can fund money for them. But if one of them doesn't go, you're allowed to pivot these funds to another beneficiary. Have you seen somebody do that, Jeff?
I have actually seen that happen several times. You never know what's going to happen because when you're starting out, your child's born, you might start saving for college. It's hard to tell, when they're a baby, are they going to go to college, or are they going to go to trade school, or not go to school at all?
Yeah.
And so we want to be saving, but we do want to know that there are some things we can do down the road if we need to.
Yeah, you want the flexibility of being able to take advantage of everything available. But mainly, we want to set aside and save some money that'll be there. My advice is having a plan and sort of tell that child that plan as they get into that 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, so that they get motivated about getting good grades. One of the things that I love to tell my kids was this: you pay for a third, I'll try to fund the other 2/3. That third can be scholarship money, where you earn it by great grades in high school, and or athletic scholarships or something else. Or you pick a school that's a lot lower cost to help you offset. Because I found if we say, oh, I'm gonna pay 100% of everything for a child, they might not be as committed even in high school on their grades. And just a 3.0 average and a regular type score on the SAT can get you scholarships. And involvement in high school can get you scholarships. Now, the 529 plan does also affect the FAFSA form. How does it affect that, Jeff?
So FAFSA is looking at financial aid for students. If a student has an asset that's in their name, it counts as a bigger number, if you will, towards the contribution that student's supposed to make. Assets that the parents own count at a lower rate. And a 529 plan counts as a parent asset, not a student asset, which can actually help you get more financial aid through that FAFSA form. So that's another way that it's a really good tool.
And it's the hard part with that is that if the parent owns it, they do count it. It's around like a 5.8% of the money. The kid, they count it as 35% of it would be used every year. Now, when we add in a variable called the grandparents funding a 529 plan, if you don't take money out of a 529 plan, it doesn't count on a FAFSA form. So let's say you have a grandchild who is a senior in high school and the parents make a low enough money to qualify for financial aid, but you have a 529 plan with enough money to fund 1 year. Should you fund it freshman year or senior year? Our advice is you do not use it freshman year, sophomore, or junior. Once you've done your last FAFSA form, then you use the 529 plan to finish up the college years. Because the grandparents' 529 plan, when you pull money out, it's like gifting it to the grandchild, and it counts as a child asset. Other ways around it is when you get near college, you can change the ownership to your child, who's the custodian of their child. So that's just something to know. If your kids might qualify for financial aid, you got to be careful with grandparents owned 529 plans. Little tricky, but something to keep an eye out, because these can basically force you to owe more money in the college when they would have qualified because we did save so well.
All reasons to use a financial advisor to help you through these things.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I thought we'd finish up this section of our talk today, this webinar about saving for college. And I wanted to go to our website at acresfinancial.com. So let me bring up our website, acresfinancial.com, and I'm going to share my screen. And I shared the screen. Now, you are allowed to do this at home. This is the lovely acresfinancialgroup.com website, or acresfinancial.com. Up here, you can see information about home, or about our team of people at Acres Financial, information for clients. You can see resources, our webinars that we've been doing. This is where we keep them. Even after you hear the recording today, you can hear it again by hitting this tab. And over to the right is our radio tab. But if we look at resources today and we click the resource button, what'll come up is a lot of options here. But if we go back here and hold the resource button and go down, and really what we're going to do is hit tools. By hitting tools, we can see these calculators that I want you to look at today. By hitting calculator, there's a lot of calculators about retirement, investment, estate, money, tax, insurance, mortgages, a lot of calculators. But today we're going to do this one here, saving for college. Under saving for college, we can put in some assumptions. So Jeff, what's some assumptions you'd like me to enter in here?
Well, that first one, the rate of inflation, I like using the 6%. We've used 6% rate of inflation. The cost of education keeps going up. And then for
The
the
cost of
amount saved,
education and room and board. The room and board
gosh.
has been one of the fastest growing. So if the kid's going to go away to college, that's basically doubling tuition if they go
Yep.
away to college.
Yep, it goes up fast. And so far as the amount saved so far, let's just say that our child has just been born. So we haven't saved anything yet. There's nothing set aside for school yet.
Okay.
So the name, yeah, future college kid. We haven't even named this child yet. But right now, their age is 0. They've just been born. That's fine. We do have to have their social security number in order to make them a beneficiary on this account. So they'll be at least a few days old. And we can say they're going to start college when they're 18, and they're going to be really good students and last and finish college in 4 years. And today's cost, I'd say, let's say that it's $30,000 for today's cost for a year. That's sort of a middling school, even maybe a little bit inexpensive school today. Let's see. And then what do we think our return is going to be? I don't think anybody wants to say negative 12%. 8% is kind of at the high end of a reasonable expectations for the coming decade anyway. So that's probably okay. And if we're in the 22% tax bracket, and do you want to increase? It says annual increases here. That's where you could say, I'm going to put in $100 this year. Next year, it's going to be 105 and then 110, all that kind of thing. So let's just leave it at 0. We'll say we're going to contribute the same amount for the whole 18 years. So, yep, let's go ahead and hit calculate and see what comes up. Wow, $30,000 today means that it's going to be almost $375,000 to go to school for 4 years, starting 18 years from now. And in order to get that much, we're going to have to set aside $764 per month. Now, these calculations are very specific, but you do want to keep in mind that markets go up and down. It's never an even 8%. Or if you wanted to just set aside a lump sum today, just throw in almost $115,000, and you'll have it saved up. The graph is nice, tells you how much you've saved, and then you see once college starts, it goes down really fast, but then college is paid for.
Yeah, this is even more detail of that savings. That $764 a month equals $9,000 a year. And then we save that and build it over time, and ends up growing and growing and growing. And then on this side over here is where we start taking the money out, and we're still saving during college. So we're assuming they save all the way to the child's 22. So that's how we're able to fund college at what was a $30,000 college is now an $85,000 college. Oh my, it gets depressing when you do inflation to college. This graph running up the college bill can be depressing. And just like any way, when you talk about eating an elephant, you do it one bite at a time. The best way to save for college is to save something for college. We do not expect people to put all 764 away right away. We like them to start with something. You got to have balance for retirement saving and everything else. But as grandparents, if you're listening to this, you might be able to put some money away. Any money away like this is going to help narrow the gap in paying the college bills down the road. So this is available on the Acres Financial website through our resources and tool button. This gives us the ability to calculate. We also do the calculation for you. So as part of planning, now we could say what college might they go to? We're just going to be guessing. Typically, you would sort of maybe use the same college that their parents went to and just try to play with that number and see what to do. So 529 plan, there's a lot of information going on. This beginning talk about is about tax-free growth. We talked about a few options in there, but there's a lot more to talk about. We're going to be right back with you with our next topic.
For college, trade, or technical school doesn't have to be a challenge. There's a path forward that's easier than you may think. Open an account with Maryland 529 and give your child the freedom to pursue their dreams. What exactly is a 529 plan? Here are the facts. A 529 plan helps families save for future educational goals with tax advantages you can't get from standard savings accounts. Maryland 529 college savings plans are the only 529 plans that offer an annual Maryland state income deduction of up to $2,500 per year, per account, or per beneficiary, depending on the plan you choose. Any earnings and contributions can be used tax-free for expenses like tuition, room and board, and books. And the benefits go far beyond Maryland schools. Opening an account with us gives you the flexibility to save for accredited colleges, apprenticeships, and technical or trade schools nationwide. We offer 2 great plans. With the Maryland College Investment Plan, you have the freedom to save here and go anywhere. You can contribute what you can, when you can, and the plan is open to anyone. The Maryland Prepaid College Trust gives you the freedom to secure tomorrow's tuition at today's prices.
All right, that's an excellent video put on by T. Price on the Maryland 529 plan. Now what I'm going to do is share a screen, and we're going to go to the Maryland529.com website, where we can actually look at their website and go over there on what they cover and some things for you to look at when you're looking at the Maryland 529 plan. So the Maryland 529 plan through TRO is approved by the state of Maryland as the only provider for the Maryland plan where you get a tax deduction. This Maryland 529 plan comes in 2 versions, a prepaid college trust and a college investment plan. The prepaid college trust is something that we're not the biggest fan of that for a number of reasons, but generally a prepaid college trust, you're paying for someone to go to a state of Maryland, locking in today's prices and paying for that. Now you have to know that that child is going to go to somewhere to a college in Maryland, and then hopefully that's going to work out financially. We, and almost 100% of the cases that we work with the college investment plan. The college investment plan is where you're investing that money for the future of that college child. So this, the college investment plan, when we're looking at this, the Maryland 529 plan, well, let me cover just a couple things on this website. Over here on the left, it says college investment plan, features and benefits, investment options. Now, in the investment option, we click this button, what we'll see is that they have an enrollment-based portfolio, which we're not a fan of. But the concept is this, is if the child's younger, you'll pick a time period in the future. And what that means is as the child gets closer and closer to college, so if you see here, a portfolio 2021, 2024, the blue is bonds, the orange is stocks. If the client's child is younger, they would be enrolled where, but it's in mostly stocks until the last 14, 15 years, they start putting more and more bonds in. Acres Financial Group, we don't recommend having bonds in portfolios. We believe the bond mutual funds are things that will lose us money. So what should be making less risk as you get closer and closer to college actually adds to the risk level that we do not want it this way. So what we'd rather people do in the Maryland 529 plan is come down to this fixed portfolio category and look at two options. One is a money market. We use this money market for people who might want to fund, let's say, a private school, high school. You can put $10,000 into this plan for that child. The husband and wife can deduct $2,500 each off their taxes. We can put it in the money market and then pull it back out to pay for private school. The maximum that we can pay for private school in a year is $10,000. For growing it for college, which is the main reason we use this, we like the 100% equity portfolio, where we put this money in for a young person, and as they get closer to college around sophomore, junior year, we'll then pull out freshman money, sophomore money into the money market to the no risk fund at that time. So generally, a T. Rowe Price has an enrollment base. We're not a fan of these target date concepts, but we use the fixed portfolios right here. Now, in the Maryland College Plan, so this website is maryland529.com. You can go there and you can read about features and benefits. Features and benefits right here, you can find out about their investment choices like we just covered. Further down, you can go into the Safer College. It's a silver rated plan by this group from Morningstar that reviews plans like this. But this kind of plan, when it comes to saving for college, you can put money away. It'll grow tax-free for your future. Now we might have some other questions. You just hit this frequent asked questions button here, and you can come down. It says how it works, how to enroll. Yes, you can enroll online, or we can help you with this. Now, as a financial advisor and stockbroker, we do not actually do the T. Rowe Price fund, but we can help you and guide you to be able to invest your money over here. And we do have a number of clients doing it because they lowered the overall fees and expenses at the Maryland 529 plan just a few years ago. There's underlying fees inside of the T. Rowe Price fund, and they've greatly cut down the state fee that I used to call it the state kickback, the kickback that they used to get when the funds were being invested at T. Rowe. The crazy thing with the plan is that they used to have a $95 startup fee and an actual 0.39 went to the state of Maryland, and that just doesn't happen anymore. So over here is on their menu, just some more options and things to think about. The kindergarten to 12 tuition is $10,000 a year. 529 is for college or trade school. And that's what our video was earlier covering that information. It is very flexible and can be something that can be used. The main reason to use this T. Rowe Price fund is the deduction that is provided. So as we're looking at this 529 plan, this website, they have some tools and resources up top here and some other information. But generally, the college investment plan, fixed options, it's a deductible. Basically, that $2,500 deduction works out to be about $190 off your Maryland taxes. If you give more than $2,500 per person in a year, it does carry forward for a Maryland deduction if you are a Maryland resident. Just some information here on the 529 plan. And we will head to the next section of our talk. Thank you very much.
Hi there. Brian's just talked to you about the Maryland 529 plan through T. Rowe Price. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about an American Funds 529 plan, which is offered through the state of Virginia. Every 529 plan is offered through a state or has a state sponsor. But just because you're using a plan from Virginia doesn't mean you have to go to school in Virginia. It can be used for a school anywhere in the US. It just has to be a qualified institution to go to it. So I'm going to talk about the American Funds plan. I'm going to tell you what we really like about it, why we like to use it. And then we'll come back with Brian in a little bit and finish this up. So I'm going to share my screen with you. American Funds has a lot of really neat information on their website with American Funds. This is a brochure from that website. And I'm on page 3 of 8. I'm not going to go through the whole brochure. I just really want to show you this one page about why we like American Funds. So it is available nationwide. It's a national 529 plan, like I mentioned before. It is sponsored by Virginia, but it can be used anywhere, and you can have it even if you're here in Maryland. It is a highly rated plan. Morningstar rates 529 plans, and Morningstar has rated American Funds very highly. You might actually have American Funds if you have retirement accounts through work or other ways. You may actually be familiar with American Funds, and most people that are familiar with them are very happy with them. American Funds does have low expenses. Every mutual fund has a cost inside of it, and the cost of American Funds are among the lowest that are out there. And the amount to start up is $250. You can start a 529 plan with $250. That can be the first contribution into a mutual fund to start the 529. And then if you want to make regular monthly contributions, you can do $50 a month is the minimum to do that. So it doesn't take a whole lot to get started and just start setting some money aside and let it build over time. Now, what I really want to get to is down here. It talks about 3 different investment approaches. The first one here is a target date series. The first 2, I want to say, the target date series and this portfolio series were available in the Maryland 529 plan that Brian just went through with you. So a target date fund, you might have seen target date funds in your 401k that you have for work. You say, here's when I'm going to retire, and it automatically shifts from stocks into bonds as you get closer to retirement. Well, for education funds, it does the same thing. It just says, when is the child going to start college? And as you get closer and closer to that date, it automatically shifts from stocks into bonds and cash as you get closer and closer to that date. One reason that we don't like that is because you may be in a market situation. We actually had one last year where stocks dropped and bonds went up in value. And target date funds that were scheduled to do their annual rebalance would have sold stocks while they're down and then bought bonds while they were high in price. And now as interest rates potentially start to rise, the value of bonds has actually come down some. And so that created a situation where you were buying high and now you're going to sell low. And the idea of going into bonds was to reduce your risk, not to cause a loss. So that's the target date series. Every mutual fund company has them. The next series over here is called a portfolio series. And this is where you pick a goal. You might say, I want growth. And so it'll invest in growth mutual funds, but it's still a fund of funds, and it just picks what you're after. So you might want a balanced equity. And so it's going to have big stocks, small stocks, international stocks, all that kind of stuff, but it might stick with stocks. But it's all wrapped up into one fund. This, again, is something that the T. Rowe Price Maryland plan offers as well. But something that the T. Rowe Price plan does not offer, and very few 529s do, is the ability to pick and choose your individual mutual funds that you want to use in your 529 plan. This is really the thing that we like about American Funds. We can say, okay, the child is young, we've got lots of time, let's be aggressive. And so we can pick some aggressive mutual funds. As they get older, we can say, all right, let's start scaling back the risk, and we can change what we're invested in, but we're controlling it. So when the market has a downturn like it did last year, we might say, well, we're going to hold on through this and we'll rebalance after we've come back out of this dislocation in the market. I'm going to change the screen that I'm sharing now because I want to show you a different screen. This is on the American Funds website, and it's just to give you an idea about those mutual funds. These are some of the funds that are available through American Funds, and they do have them categorized: growth and income, equity income, balance, taxable bond, tax-exempt bond, and money market. Just a quick note, tax-exempt bond, there's no reason to ever use these in a 529 plan. The plan itself is tax advantaged, so we're not worried about paying taxes on interest in a bond. So they are listed here, but they are not funds that we would ever use in a 529 plan. So let's say that the child is just born, just 5 years old or less. We say, let's just be really aggressive. Well, we can go down through here and pick and choose, like Growth Fund of America, Euro-Pacific Growth Fund, New Economy Fund. These are all growth oriented. We could even use New World Fund, which is kind of a mutual fund that's invests in emerging markets kinds of things. So very aggressive because we have time. Time is on our side when the child is very young. Now the child reaches 10, 11, 12, we could start scaling this back. We're using some growth in income, maybe some equity income, and getting away from the really aggressive growth types of investments. And then finally, the child reaches school, they reach 18, they're going to start going to school, and we might want to put money in the money market. That way we know no matter what happens in the market, that money will be there when the tuition bill comes. We want to be able to pay that when it comes. So we can use the money market down towards the end. So these are just, I'm just listing out or showing you all the mutual funds that they have there at American Funds. These are the same mutual funds that they use in your regular IRA accounts, Roth IRA accounts, regular investment accounts. You might have some of these available to you in a 401k. These are the same funds. They use them in a 529 plan as well. And we really like that flexibility to pick and choose what we want to use to save for your child's college education that comes up down the road. So that does it for American Funds. You can obviously ask us any questions you might have about using American Funds for a 529 plan. We'd be happy to walk you through that and get that taken care of. So Brian and I'll be back in just a minute, and we'll talk a little bit about, or we'll wrap up what we're doing today with 529 plans. Thanks for being here.
All right, Jeff, welcome back from the American Funds Island of 529. I've come back from the T. Rowe Price website. Hopefully everyone was able to see what we presented on the screens. And then what Jeff and I are going to do now is sort of finish up our talk here on 529 plans. Any final thoughts or concerns people need to have when it comes to 529 plans, Jeff?
Well, one thing that I get asked sometimes is, what if my child ends up not going to school and I don't have any other beneficiaries to move it to? What can I do with that 529 money? And so I've actually had a case where there was a mom whose son wasn't going to use all of his money, but she wanted to go to school. So she actually made herself the beneficiary for some of it, and she's using it for her to go to school. So there are options with the beneficiaries where you can make changes even to yourself or someone else in the family in order to go to school. But in a worst case scenario, absolute worst case scenario, it's not going to be used for education. You can take the money out. There will be a penalty and tax on the earnings, but only on the earnings. There won't be anything on the contributions, the money you put into it. It'll just be on the earnings. That's a 10% penalty, and you'll pay your regular income tax rate, whatever that tax rate might be. So that's the absolute worst case scenario.
On the growth of the 529 beyond what you put in.
Right.
Now, is there an age limit to 529 plans?
You know, there used to be. There are certain plans now that don't have an age limit at all. The American Funds plan has a limit of 30 years after the beneficiary graduated from high school, or 30 years after the account was open. So for someone graduating from high school at 18, they've got until 48 to use it all up. So they got plenty of time to go to school. I've seen some career students and they're done before 48. And then the case I was just giving where the mom used it, it's 30 years after she opened her account. So even though she's past 48, she's still got plenty of time to use that money up for school.
So 529 plans can be a legacy that will go to next generations. The other thing that 529 plans provide is a way of gifting money that's not included in your estate. And that's something that's important if the estate tax law changes in the near future. But you might be able to do 5 years of gifting all at one time. And that would allow you to maybe put away $75,000. So there's a lot of things going on with 529 plans. It's a way of setting aside some money for college. We're not recommending here that everyone's got to pay for all of college or people have to go to college off. We found recently that graduates that go to trade, right straight into the trades and become an apprentice, make a lot more money than the people that go through college the first 4 or 5 years out or longer, depending on what career they go into. A lot of choices, but it's a good way to save some money. Thank you very much, Jeff, for going over this 529 plan today. Any final 529 words?
I was just going to say, as you were talking there, that something Brian mentioned earlier on was have the student have some skin in the game. Don't pay for 100% of it. Have the student pay for some of it, because then their interest level will go up and the seriousness will, it's just human nature. When something's free, we take it for granted. So don't let it be free.
Make them work for it. That's the best way to appreciate it and achieve more. All right, so our webinar today is on the 529 plan. It's going to be on our website, acresfinancial.com, under webinar. You can watch it again if you like, or you can send that link to someone else. Now, for all those our first-time listeners, we will be sending you a gift. We have a couple different gifts that we're sending out right now, so I'm not going to promise anything special, but whatever we have left, we'll send to you. If we don't have your email, please contact us and give us your email so we can get in touch with you and get you information and even gifts for being part of our webinar series. Webinar series is designed to educate our clients and referrals and new prospective clients about Acres Financial Group and about financial planning in general. We invite you to join our radio show each and every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on 105.7 The Fan. 105.7 The Fan, 11 a.m. to noon. I'm the host of it. Along with me are Jeff Akers and Alex Monk, all certified financial planner practitioners. And what we do is talk financial planning topics to help people win in retirement. All right, so the final thing I got to tell you about is we're working on a webinar for June 10th. On Thursday, June 10th is when it goes live at 4 p.m. that day. That webinar is going to be a little bit of secret as we build the topics into that date. So we look forward to having you again on that date to go over. Let me see if there's anything else on my list here. Oh, no, there isn't anything else on our list. So enjoy May 29th, the 529 day, and remember about college savings.